Going through the country, gonna eat a
Is this
lot
for The
of-
Shining? Because that's what I feel like.
It is. It's free video and go.
Nice.
Hang on.
That or Wrong Turn.
I never didn't believe in Bigfoot. I never believed in it. I didn't believe in it. I never gave it any thought.
They kept wood knocking back and forth to each other, and it was in a pattern.
Barn owls don't typically throw rocks.
I come across these tracks.
Sasquatch is still not on my mind.
Chat is already lighting up. We got David from Oregon in there. Already here. So before we get started, I want to let everybody know I just got over walking pneumonia. I'm hacking like an old lady at a casino. So we're going to do his best, but me and Miss Grant here have been talking for about 20 minutes, and I think it's going to be a fun time. But this is the Caffeinated Cryptid, home to the caffeine-fueled conversations, combining incredible scientific perspectives and paranormal research for captivating stories. I'm Bobby Dizzle, the host of The Goat Rope. I've heard a lot of stories. You know the drill. Let's get to it. We got Corissa Grant, comic book author, paranormal experiencer. We talked about cryptids. She's got one about zombies and other fun flesh-eating things now, and we're just going to go down a rabbit hole. The timer is set. David's here. Kids, grab your milk. Go on, Corissa, with your Donald Duck shirt.
Yes. Hi. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
We're good.
Yeah.
So what research have you done into the cryptids for your cryptid books? I know you had one that had a Wendigo on it.
I have been researching nonstop because I have over 30 cryptids in this Western series. The one that's live now, Worthy Chaos Redemption, is more zombies, ghosts, giant salamanders, and things like that. Which is it's like a horror adventure action. And that's live now on Kickstarter. There's my Wendigo, isn't he gorgeous? And I love him.
There's a statue in the town square for that one.
Yeah, I actually have two Wendigos in mind. That is the alpha Wendigo, and then we have a deer horned one that arrives. I want to say issue 5. So anyway, the one that's live now is Worthy Chaos Redemption. That's on Kickstarter. If anyone wants to go on there, just search Worthy Chaos and Kickstarter. It's 2 hardcovers, issues 1 through 12. The Western is going to be in January 6th. It's going to go live, and it is much more supernatural, cryptid-esque. Each issue will have main cryptids in it, but there'll also be some in the background for people to spot out, and they can mark it on a map we're going to have. We're going to sell these little mini journals that you can add pages to them, and what's going to be is whenever you back that issue, whatever cryptids were seen in the background or encountered or whatever, you get the free pages of it, like a journal in Supernatural, if anyone's seen Supernatural. So like the first one's going to have Bigfoot and Wendigo. And in the background, I think that might be all for one, but the second one there's going to be 20 main cryptids that they're going to encounter with that are important. There's going to be an apothecary box that you can get, and each issue is going to have an ingredient that you can collect from the Wendigos. She's going to collect them eventually, starting issue 4. And what it is she needs to get this elixir together. And to do that, she needs to get ingredients from cryptids. However, the only way it would work is if you don't kill the cryptid first. So like she needs to get a piece of the antler from the Wendigo, but she can't kill it. She needs to get the fur from Bigfoot. She needs to get the powder from the Mothman, a claw from the Chupacabra, a scale from the burrow. There's a huge list. So there's 20 of those that have to be caught. And then there's some in the background. Now we use the popular ones. We have as I said before, the Jersey Devil, which is called Leeds in ours because that's his original name. And there's a lot that she has to encounter, but we also have some that we made up. Like we have a sheep demon, we have a dragon demon plant. I've had squirrel. That's pretty good. We have an ant bat. We have these other ones that we've created. A crow demon with 6 eyes, and it's like a crow phoenix. We have the vampire chameleon bats. That they're actually in Redemption 2.
Chameleon bats.
Yeah, they're
That's terrifying.
Yeah, yeah, they're pretty much vampire bats that are larger and they can blend into the background. So yeah, they're in that too. We're gonna have plushies for all of them. Statues, 3D statues, metal pins, regular pins, stickers. Like I said, the journal pages. In issue 2, I believe the Mothman is in the background. The Snagglegaster is in the background. Our Crow Demon is there, and we have a couple that become regular characters. Like I don't know how many of you guys know the Squonk.
That little ugly one.
Yes,
that looks so sad.
Yes, he cries. That's all he does is he sits in there and he cries. And if you make him cry too much, he turns into a puddle. So his ingredient is his tears. But our characters are an angel and a demon that go on this quest. So she is too nice to it, which makes it stop crying. And then the demon, points his gun at it and makes him cry again. So, but he actually winds up becoming, and it wasn't intentional, just kind of the way it worked out. He started following her around because she's the only one that's ever been nice to him. So the Squawk kind of becomes in a lot of the issues. So it's kind of funny because every time something goes wrong, it just wails. Like it just cries, uncontrollably cries, which gets them into trouble. And it helps once in a while, but mostly gets them caught or in trouble or whatever. So yeah, ours is a little tiny bit cuter than that. It doesn't have the wrinkles. We made him a little different, but yeah, that's pretty accurate. And he does have a plushie because, of course, he does. Yeah, to me, it looks like a Shar-Pei, to be honest with you. But yeah, I love the Squonk. I had not discovered that until I had done research on this one. And every time I'm going to add a cryptid, I do the research on it, like the Snagglegaster and all that stuff, the Squonk, and it's so funny because when you look up the Squonk, obviously it's a joke, I assume, but somebody made it like it was a pet. So I found out that it doesn't eat meat, so she can only feed it strawberries and whatever. So it says to keep your Squonk happy, you have to not give it meat, which means I changed its handling kit. Yeah, that's a handling care kit. So I looked up, and I'm probably saying this wrong. I am dyslexic. But Buru Bureau. It's like an alligator Komodo dragon thing. So its ingredient is its scales, which is only on its tail. They're from 11 feet to 12 to 20 feet, depending on who you ask. So yeah, I did a lot of research that I could on the.
Is that the one from Papua New Guinea?
Yeah, I believe so.
It is. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and it's supposedly it could have really existed, and they wound up making it extinct because it terrified them. So they drained the swamp, and one popped up later on, and then they did it again. So
I had a lady that like deep dove on New Guinea and the cryptids over there, and talked to like a scientist that went and like explored the whole place. And I saw this. Oh, it's the same thing she was talking about, just in that little village eating the chickens.
Yeah,
the bureau.
Yeah. So yeah, I did my research. And while I was doing my research, I found more to add on. It's very addicting to add these things on. Like I have the Kelpie, and some of them are, I think most of them are not nice. I think our Scarecrow wound up being nice because she needs the straw. But when I researched the Scarecrow, he's really just territorial. I found out that they bleed on their crops to make them grow. and all that stuff. The dog man is not evil. He's territorial too. And he actually teams up with them to get at the werewolf where she needs a fang for the werewolf. And I
You
think
put Dog Man in there. Oh,
Dog man. Yeah.
it's gonna get some hits.
Well, here's the thing. So I love the dog man more than the werewolf because to me, this is really funny because it fit perfectly. My co-writer wanted the werewolf, but I don't like cryptids that are human type. So I want the dog man because he's not, so we got in a fight over it. So I said, fine, we'll have the dog man because he's territorial and he doesn't like unnatural things. And to me, werewolf is unnatural because it's a curse and not something. I mean, obviously there's some born from it, but to me it's unnatural. So the werewolves and the dogman are enemies in it. So I kind of like that whole aspect of it. We do have later on necromancer and the undead and the headless horseman because everyone wanted him, so he's in there. But yeah, it's super fun. You get to be part of it by collecting, the maps and collecting the journal pages. And it's kind of like you're the hunter. So it's not just something, you're not just reading, you're joining in with her as she hunts. And it's really fun, I think, to do that. So very interactive.
Kind of like Dungeons and Dragons a little bit.
Yeah.
Kind of go along.
Well, we wrote this and writing it. We're still writing it as role players. So when you're reading the story, I write the story first, and I write it in Seraphina, the angel's point of view, and then my co-writer will write it in Draven, the demon's point of view. So you get the whole story, and that way, when you read it, the two main characters have completely different personalities because we write them separately. And you can tell which one's mine because she talks nonstop and barely thinks. And Draven, the demon, barely talks and thinks all the time. So we do have a lot of thought balloons because we write it in novel form. So a lot of thinking goes on. So it's kind of like a novel comic book kind of thing. So it's a little bit
send
more
it off. Send it off to be animated afterwards.
My dream is to have it animated. That would be my ideal. And I'll probably be a tabletop or a video game because that's what everybody wants it to be. But yeah, it will. My dream, I don't know if it'll ever happen. My dream is to get it animated. Yeah. Man,
the way like just your speech just now, that could be like a Red Dead Redemption game. Oh my God, just going around collecting an antler from a Wendigo.
Yeah. I mean, and you can't kill it, so it's kind of like, which was the main point. We wanted to torture our characters. And I think so for the ones we made up, like our crow demon. So it's a small crow with 6 eyes. But if you touch it or grab it or it gets scared, it bursts into flames and turns to ash. And then when enough of them do that, the ash combines into one giant crow, phoenix crow. The only problem is it's already in fire then, so you can't get the feather unless you can put it out before it gets to the big giant crow thing. So that's fun because every time they go to grab a feather, the whole thing bursts into flames. And then we have, it's very dramatic.
Relax.
And then we have the sheep demon, which there is a name for it. It's Latin for sheep, nightmare sheep. So it looks like a regular sheep. And what it does is it goes to a farm and it eats one of the regular sheep to fit in with the other sheep. And the only time it looks differently is when the full moon hits it, it glows in the dark. And so it has this power where its breath will put you to sleep, which we made up. That's where it came from. If you count sheep, you fall asleep. It's because if you count them and there's one of those sheep demons, the breath will put you under. And that's kind of what that is. So they have to get the wool from one of those. And of course, while they're fighting those, the chupacabra shows up because it's a goat sucker. So yeah, we're still writing it. Right now we have 15 issues written. Issue 1 starts January though, so it's a brand new series. It is the same characters from Redemption. It's just in the Wild West. And they wind up connecting eventually. It's just a different story right now, but yeah.
Is that the one from your profile picture?
That's actually this one, the cowgirl. She's a cowgirl. Yeah, this is from so this is Worthy Chaos Devastation, which not a lot of people understand how devastating is until later on. But yeah, that's my that's her. And she's an angel descendant, so they do have, and there's angels and demons along with all the cryptids too. So
Yeah, that was a no-brainer putting that as the thumbnail. Don't know if you know how marketing works or not, but that was going on there regardless.
yeah.
We got David Blaylock in the house. Look at there. He's like, he said, yes, please.
Yeah. We have a really great artist. Everything's traditional. So I get all the originals and all that fun stuff. So we might have some original art, but I'm so obsessed with my characters that I don't usually sell original art. But we might have some original art of the cryptids. We are doing a massive poster for conventions and stuff. It's going to be double the size, and it's going to be all the cryptids in their little environments, but together. So there's going to be at least 20 to 30 cryptids in this one poster. And I'm super excited for that. But we're working on it. 7 more pages left of issue 1. And the thing that people need to know about my Kickstarters, because it's very odd and not like other people, I do not have a Kickstarter unless my comic book is in hand. So, for example, my Kickstarter online right now is for my hardcover 1 and 2, and I already have it. This is it. I already have it in hand. So you get your reward within 2 weeks. I ship them out a week after when the payments go through, and then you get it about a week later. So there's no waiting a year. There's no waiting a month. You're going to get your rewards. So that's it. The redemption one that's now is issues 1 through 12 is out. You can get both in the hardcovers. And they're cheaper than most. I think the first hardcover is 1 through 7. It's only $34 on there. And then the second hardcover is 8 through 12, and that's only $29. You can also get digitals, PDFs, and all that stuff. But issue 17, up to issue 17, is already done. So we're ahead. So you're going to get your issues. You're going to get the story. We're too obsessed to stop, no matter how in debt we go. So there's
what's the parental rating on those? It like PG-13 kind of.
I get asked this all the time. So redemption is there's no nudity. It's got everything else. It's got cursing. It's got violence. Yeah.
Bye. This is over.
Yeah. My characters are, but again, I get that asked all the time at the cons. The parents.
My daughter loves comics. That's what I was asking.
Yeah, my the Western is less violent than Redemption. It's not violent for the sake of violent, but it is more gruesome. And I have 2 best friends that don't like horror, so they don't like the horror one, but they'll love the Western because it's very supernatural-esque. But I get asked that question a lot, and I always say, well, there's cursing and there's violence, and they're saying, but is there nudity? And I'm saying no. They're like, okay, and I was just like, okay, well, you're the parent.
I'm almost in that same boat.
Yeah.
Violence is almost okay. Violence is in everything, but
yeah, I mean, like I said, it's not violent for the sake of violent, but I mean, he's a demon, and they're fighting, giant salamanders and zombies. So there's obviously going to be some violence. There's not as much violence in the Western because they can't really kill them. They can kill them after, but they generally don't. 1, because I don't really want to kill people's favorite cryptids. But 2, it's just, they're there and they do their thing. Like I said, a couple, I think 3 are good. So the Scarecrow's good, the Bigfoot's good, and good as in, they don't attack her. And the Mothman is good so far. And the Ox, but I don't know if the Ox is under I found it under the cryptid category, but it's also from mythology. So I don't know if it's technically a cryptid or not, but it is the Flaming Bull. And he works with goddess Mari, which they go after, they punish the evil. So obviously they don't like the demon in the story, but she's an angel, so they won't hurt her. So you're safe.
Yeah, I don't think you're doing too the whole what's a cryptid and what's not a cryptid to get some people upset. But I think if it even can be considered it, I think you could use it.
Yeah. Somebody yelled at me that zombies aren't cryptids, and I said, well, technically they are, but ghosts aren't. That's what I found out. My zombies in Redemption, there's 3 different kinds. There's the first one is the kind from hell, because the town is merged with hell. So it's like Silent Hill for anyone that knows Silent Hill. The second part of the story, they're possessed ghosts, so they're dead bodies that are possessed. And then in the third part, well, now the third part, they're zombies from viruses. So it's like Resident Evil. But the zombies in the Western are the necromancy. So they are considered more cryptid, if you want to be specific.
Ooh, it's like a voodoo zombie.
Yeah. But it's so much fun to write. We're so addicted to it. We only started writing 2 months ago and we already have 15 issues. That's how obsessed we are with this story. The other one took 4 years to get. Well, I'm not gonna lie, it's 110 issues for the other one, but it's separated in series. So the first series of Redemption, which is the one on live now, is 1 through 24 issues, and then 25 through I think it's 50 is the second series, and then the third series would start, and that's 30 issues. So we have a lot of writing. They'll have definitive endings, so we could stop it at any time during the 24th or the whatever. I know how the Western ends because it has to end in a specific way. And we had that actually written first. And it wasn't until we were like, we would really love to expand the story. So it wound up being just 1 issue for the ending. And then we're like, we have to expand this. So we've been working. We don't know how long it's going to be, but we know how it ends because it's very important to the story. So
do you get any inspiration from Robert Kirkman on the zombie aspect?
No. I didn't. But I'm not against getting inspiration. But right now, I get the weirdest ideas. Like, I don't think ahead. I sit down and I write. And I kind of know the direction it's going in. Like, I now she's hunting the 20 cryptids, and I think we're up to 10. I think. I'm not sure. I think they're trying to get the Snagglegaster now. Which I got to tell you, my plushie maker is having a ball trying to put together.
Hey, Helen, we're gonna need 10 Snagglegasters for the convention.
Yeah, it's
in
like,
purple.
It looks like I described it as a raptor with wings and the head and neck of a vulture with tentacles coming out of its beak. So
it's like Cthulhu kind of.
Yeah, it's a crazy messed up. It's a crazy messed up creature, yeah. But I'm excited to see that as a plushie, so that'll be interesting. So
I am too. And the end game, you can always sell all of these to Pokemon.
Yeah,
like kind of like when you build an app and you sell it to Google, you can sell all your cryptids to Pokemon.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever been to. I didn't even know these existed. I should have known. But there's a cryptid convention in Kentucky. It's this November. I'm gonna go check it out. It was too late to get a table, but I'm gonna get a table for next November, so I'm gonna be there. I think it's Lexington, Kentucky. But yeah, it's a cryptid convention, so I'm just like, I am excited for this.
They have them all the time.
Yeah, I'm so excited, and it's so funny because we didn't have this plan. Like I said, we started this 2 months ago, but in Redemption, I think it was issue 6 or 7. You know, Draven, who is the demon, didn't believe in anything supernatural. So he said to her, she's a supernatural hunter. And he said, what else is out there besides demons? Is there Bigfoot? And she said, no Bigfoot yet. And I didn't connect that until like a week ago, where I'm like, oh, she mentions Bigfoot, and now we have Bigfoot. So, but yeah, so we're excited for that. But the first plushies in issue 1 is going to be Bigfoot, Wendigo, and we have a rat named Apollo, which is from an Apollo god. So he joins too. So we're gonna have three plushies for the first one, yeah. And then the second one will have the Crow Demon, the Mothman, and the Snagglegaster. If that Frankenstein thing can be made, we'll see.
There's the group in the chat. We kind of haunt the same conventions, kind of in like a Venn diagram kind of thing. We all meet a couple times a year, and there's a lady that makes those kind of plushies there, and they are the weirdest things to look at. With the authentic, she'll make a Bigfoot with the authentic face and the wrinkles. And I don't even look at this thing. It's like it looks like Alf, but like it can come. I know they know what I'm talking about. Like you walk up and like, God.
We have so we have 2 versions. We have the version in the story, which is more serious, like your Wendigo that you saw, and then we have the we call them the chibi version. Let me see if I can show you the
coloring book version.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, here, let me show you. So these are stickers that we do, and she just sent me. Okay, I think I could share my screen.
You should be able to. If not,
Oh, Facebook is what I want. There we go. So this
There we
is our Bigfoot, our chibi Bigfoot. It will not let me go. This is our Mothman. It's very hard to make Mothman different because, you know, they're always black with red eyes. So we did the opposite version of that. And this is our Wendigo, which is my favorite, our Alpha Wendigo. And then Anubis. These are from Redemption.
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Create a universe.
Yeah. We have a whole universe. And that's our tentacled cat there. And there's our Yeti, which literally it was only made because one person asked if they can have a Yeti version of our Bigfoot. And I was like, sure.
Mhm.
And
You
she
want it?
charged me. Yeah, you want it, you got it. And then this one is new from today. Literally when we were starting, she sent this, and this is our Kelpie. And
It's like an aquatic unicorn.
it is, yeah. This is the one that drowns you. I don't know if you know what a Kelpie is, but so there's two ways to get drowned by this thing. It either comes on land and tricks you to ride it, and once you get on its back, you can't get off, or your hand gets caught in the mane. Now, the ingredient that we need from the Kelpie is the mane. You have to get a piece of the seaweed.
Piece of the kelp.
And yeah. So it's, and they are not friendly at all. They want to drown you. In mythology for cryptids, the only way or any time anyone's ever been able to control it is to put a bridle on it with a cross engraved in it. But apparently it's bad luck, and the guy that did it was cursed, and his children were cursed once it got free. So I don't recommend that at all.
Instructions unclear. Generational curse.
Yeah. So no capturing the Kelpie. Try to leave that alone.
It's like, what happened? Like there's a particular toy that you can go down and take a picture of, and it curses you. And I'm not mentioning the name, but like, yeah, it terrifies me to think that exists. Yeah,
Christmas. Well, I don't know if you know about the haunted museum in Connecticut, the one with that's from the Warrens. That was near where I used to live.
Oh,
I
really?
did not go because I was terrified of bringing something home with me, because that's where Annabelle was, and they store all their cursed items at one museum. Well, they both passed now. I think the son is taking care of it now.
Mhm.
But yeah, no. So
did you ever go to the Eye House with the Amityville? I
used to live in New York, and I have driven past it. I have not gone near it. I've seen a shadow. I've seen a shadow man in my teenage years. I was literally just telling the story today. I was laying in bed, and I was house sitting or cat sitting for somebody, and I was laying in bed, and I saw this shadow of a man, a really tall man, go across the where I was sleeping, so across the wall, and then it went under the bed. And like an idiot, for some reason, my instincts were to jump up to go look under the bed. And right before I looked under it, I was like, nope. And I went back to bed, and I was like, I tried to convince myself I fell asleep, and I dreamed that. And then I just happened to wake up. And that's the only way I fell asleep, is by convincing myself that I had been asleep watching it. But I was not stupid enough to look under the bed. So, and I was terrified as a kid to put my hands behind my head, because I thought someone would grab it from the bed. So for me to even go look under the bed was stupid. If I don't know what the hell I was thinking. But yeah, so that is the only paranormal thing I can honestly say I've seen. I mean, I've probably heard things or done things, but that is the one that I can do. And it wasn't even until years later that I had thought about it again. Because I had been watching a paranormal show, and this chick literally said the same thing I did. She goes, I was laying in bed and I saw the shadow of a man going across, and then it went under the bed. I was like, I saw that. So yeah, it wasn't, listen, I did not plan to go look under the bed. Like it wasn't like, oh, I should go check it out. No, my instincts were to jump up and see where it went. And trust me, it was total lapse of judgment, and I'm glad I didn't look, because all I can picture is it being like red eyes or something, or grabbing me and pulling me in. I don't need that in my life. I don't need that.
drag me to hell kind of stuff.
Yeah.
under
I don't
the
need
bed, kicking and screaming.
Yeah. No, I didn't need that. I don't know why. I actually got fired from that job because I assumed it was the cats, but something had pulled the dirt out of all the plants in the house. But I assumed it was the cat. But why wouldn't they have known that their cat does that? So I don't know. But I got fired, and I was more than happy to get fired.
So you worked in this? You worked in this house?
Yeah, I did not go back to that house. I did not want to go back. So
You worked in the house that happened in? Like as like a
I
housekeeper or something?
I was a pet sitter, and
Okay.
it was my first night there ever.
First
And I got
night.
fired the next morning. Yeah, so I was perfectly
Okay.
happy being fired. Yeah, that's crazy. I'm glad I never went back. So
Yeah, heck with that. That house had bad juju.
yeah, and to get fired for they're like, what happened? Why? Oh, she said the door to the basement was shut, so the animals couldn't get to the litter box. I was like, I didn't go near your basement. And then all the plants had the dirt pulled out of it, and I was like, that must have been the cats. I didn't. What was I doing? Burying something? Like, why would I do that? So either they had the shadow creature just had a ball, or I don't know what that was, but I never went back. So
Man, they knew what was going on. That was
Yeah.
They knew what happened.
did
They
not
you
get
probably
paid
like the
enough for
50th one that month.
I did not get paid enough for that, I can assure you. So.
Oh my god. Yeah, shadow people, man. Whenever I go to any kind of paranormal thing, and it's just a couple times a year, I'm always like saying, do not follow me home. Do not. I said, I swear to God, I'm Catholic. I will go to a priest. I'll do it right now. I know their names. Do not.
You know,
And
it's 10 grand to get an exorcism, and you have to get approved, and it takes like a year or two. Like, how is it that much money to have a priest? I guess it's a certain training that has to
there's
go
only one per diocese.
Yeah. So 10 grand. So, and that 10 grand 10 years ago. So now it's probably like 30 grand. So
what's the inflation rate on exorcism? No.
Yeah. So
Now I'm curious. These are real world problems.
absolutely, man. You need to have this kind of information in case there's an exorcism you need to do.
I'm gonna have to start asking around. I wonder if I could get my diocese exorcist on here. I wonder if they do that.
I don't know why.
You
could tell them it's to bring awareness to it.
Yeah,
Maybe that'll get them to do. I don't know.
I would end up just like forgetting all track of time, just asking all kinds of questions.
Yeah.
Right. So what's the worst that could happen?
Oh, don't ever say that. We don't ask that question. What's the worst?
So
go ahead.
I was just doing another train of thought there. I was asking what you thought do you have any extraterrestrials in your books?
I get asked that a lot. That is the one thing I have not added. So I don't. Not yet anyway. But you never know. So I don't know. I'm very torn on the alien thing. I believe they exist. I just don't want to ever know about it. Like I don't want to see them. I saw V when I was a kid, and that was enough. For anyone that hasn't seen V, the visitors come and they look like people. And you're supposed to they're supposed to teach humans to their ways or whatever. And then they decide they really wanted to take over the world. So and I will show.
Was it the remake or the new one?
The one I'm talking about is from the 80s. That was the first one.
Yeah. They had that new one that had that girl from I think ER on it or something.
Yeah. So this, which I'm sharing, is the this is the prequel. So you can search Worthy Chaos on Kickstarter and this will pop up. And this will go live January 6th. I'm just waiting for the issue 1 to be finished and printed and gotten to me. But yeah, if anyone's interested, you can go and hit the notify, and then it'll send you an email when it goes off. But yeah, I'm very excited for it. Most indie creators do 3 to 4 issues a year. I do 7 to 8. So I'm crazy. And it's really funny because I'm so far ahead on the Redemption one. I could have technically gotten out of debt next year. I could have just done those every other month and not had to pay anything. I have enough covers for the next 2 years. But then I was like, let's start a Western. So
Guys,
yeah.
Don't forget a Western.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Hear me out.
Yeah. And I love the Western. I love them both, but I'm highly addicted to the Western. I love to see the characters first meeting. Now they have a long history. They are soulmates. They reincarnate in every life. And because he's a demon and she's an angel, they can't be together in the afterlife, so they can only be together by reincarnating. So they reincarnate every time, but they don't have any memory. They just feel drawn to each other in each life. So it was fun to have them meet for the first time, and I really enjoyed that. And yeah, so
did they figure it out each time who they are?
They only figure it out because their fathers are after them. So there's an angel and a major angel and a demon after them, and they wind up kind of spilling the beans when they're trying to do whatever they're doing. To give somewhat away in Redemption, she was created from an angelic weapon, and this weapon holds the power of souls, and it can tip the scale between heaven and hell in their favor. However, the father needs it for another reason, and Draven's father needs it because he likes the power. So they're using the war between heaven and hell as an excuse, but really they just want it for their own being. So they're trying to get this weapon in every lifetime. And something happens at the end of it that changes everything, which is why Redemption is a whole other different life for them, of course, of what happens at the end. So yeah, it's got the demon and angel aspect to it, but it's fun to have that cryptid thing going on, and I really enjoy the cryptids. Yeah,
it's almost like two really good separate stories you could like piece apart.
Yeah.
Sell them separately because you don't need the cryptids to have the angel story.
Right. Well, that's what pretty much
Yeah.
in Redemption it's more of the angels and demons, and the monsters are there to try to stop them. But in this one, the cryptids is because I wanted a supernatural story, because we have, so instead of vampires, we have a subspecies of mutated vampires called the clotters. And the clotters. Yeah. So the thing about the clotters is they have clotted blood because the heart beats once every 6 hours, which is just enough to keep off rigor mortis. And because of it has clotted blood, they need more protein. So they can't get blood from a bag or an animal. It has to be directly from a human. And because our vampires have their souls, they have to only turn the most ruthless vampires, because if they don't want to feed directly from a human, then they would eventually decompose into a zombie and fall apart. So the thing about them is if they taste your blood or bite you, they can track you anywhere you go. And if you kill that clotter, the nest all can track you wherever you go. And since I followed the original history of vampires, staking them the heart doesn't work. You have to chop off their heads or burn them, which takes too long. Garlic doesn't affect them. Daylight they don't like, but can go in it. So yeah, scary.
Is that what they used to call the umpire?
Yes.
From back in Romania.
Yeah, mostly it was pretty much
Russia.
they got it from cannibals. And also there's a disease that if you go in the sunlight, it will burn you, which people do have today, but it's very, very rare. But that is where it originally started, the cannibals and the fact that they couldn't go in the sun. But originally, the staking of the heart wasn't to kill them. The staking of the heart was to pin them to the coffin. So it would not kill them. Decapitating was the only way to kill them, or burning them to ash. So,
have you ever seen Hemlock Grove?
I have not. Is it good?
It's about umpire. They never say vampire, but it is amazing.
Like The Walking Dead doesn't say zombies. They say. Yeah,
they never do the blah 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 vampire bullshit.
No.
You know, it's
that's from movies. Those are all from movies. Vlad the Impaler and Elizabeth Bathory are the two quote unquote first vampires. But it does go further back than that. Elizabeth Bathory drank young girls' blood because she thought it made her younger, because when one of her maids was brushing her hair, she got it caught, and she smacked her so hard that she got a drop of the blood from the girl on her, and she believed her skin looked younger. So she literally started a school for young girls. I don't know where she thought this was going to go. These girls never come back home. She killed over 600 girls, all of these that went to this school, quote unquote, and she would literally put them over the bathtub, bleed them out, and bathe in them, which is funny because she's Elizabeth Bathory. So she's kind of already a villain, like with a name kind of fits. So I always thought that was funny.
Like a Batman villain.
Right?
Bathory.
Bathory takes a bat. Come on. How does that not a villain? Yeah. So that is a crazy story. And that is actually what, believe it or not, started me role playing back in the day. I had seen Stay Alive, and I looked it up. Elizabeth Bathory. I looked it up, and I was finding all these facts on it. And then somehow I found these people that were role playing the characters from the story, and I was like, I know you're not the actor. Are you allowed to use their picture? And they're like, yeah, you just use whoever you want. And I don't know if you ever played Resident Evil, but she's like, just pick a character you like and play it. So I picked Claire Redfield from Resident Evil, and I role played as her for pretty much 15 years before I started writing the story. So you're letting my whole
role play the same as is role play the same as cosplay?
Yes, but it's in written form. So instead of like Dungeons and Dragons where you play a game, you roll dice and all that, what we do is we write to each other, and then the other person continues the story.
Oh,
and that's how. Yeah, it's. I'm dyslexic, so when I first started, I was a one-liner. I'd write one-lines, and then as I grew, I now sit and write 3,000 to 6,000 words in one sitting. So it really depends on what I'm writing and what I'm doing. So
it now becomes a problem for the person that getting it next. Like, well,
yeah.
I gotta read the Magna Carta to get the next one.
I felt bad because the last chapter I sent my co-writer was 5.2 thousand words. And they are still working on that. So
I can see getting that and then like forgetting what you had to do with it afterwards and getting enthralled and just interested in what you just, I'm gonna read this, and you forget you got to actually finish it. Don't even take notes.
I sometimes I keep writing, and I was like, I gotta end this at some point so that my co-writer can write back.
State.
It's a crazy story. It's so addicting. We're very addicted to it, and the characters pretty much write the story. I always joke that the characters are from another dimension and just give me the ideas, and that's what I write. So who the hell knows where the ideas come from?
It's best not to question it.
I don't. Like my friend, actually, I went to lunch with my friend. She goes, I think you have ADHD. And she's like, you should get help. I was like, it's working for me.
No, it's a superpower.
It is a superpower, right? She goes, you get so fixated on stuff. I was like, it's working for me. It's fine.
Don't lock me in Arkham.
Yeah, right? Telling you.
It hurts me because I have an office job, and I wish I didn't have it because of that. But when I don't do it and everything else in my life, I'm like, yes. I'm sitting there like feeding from the powers of the great beyond. I can.
Yeah, it's tough because I run my own business, and so I wound up. We have a Wampus cat. I don't know if you know what a Wampus cat is, but we do have.
Well, Sport Cat's cousin saw a Wampus cat in East Tennessee, down from you. Yep, next county up from where you live. She lives in Knoxville, Glenn. Or no, she doesn't. She doesn't live in Knoxville. I didn't say that.
I do. It's fine. Exclusive on here. No, I don't mind saying it. I just like if you look on Kickstarter, it's going to say Nashville. The Wampus cat, we added one thing to it. We added that there's quills on the tail because it's just a cougar with 6 legs. So we added the quills, and then later on when we decided to add the ingredients, one of them is quills. So I bought real quills to put in the jars for people. So
apparently they whistle.
That's an ingredient. What happened?
Apparently they whistle and sing.
Wampus cats apparently can read your mind and mess with you. So.
Now, when you were doing the research on the cryptids, what did you get out of the Bigfoot one when you came out? When you were doing the Bigfoot research, did you get that they were supernatural or just a hidden monkey?
It went both ways. Like it mostly it's not supernatural. It is just a gorilla type thing. In mine, it's not defined. It's really just a creature that has higher intelligence and all that stuff. But I think that they're supernatural. I mean, you can't be the world's hide and seek champion by being just a creature. So I think they're supernatural-esque. So
it's one of those things that if you stay on the surface, you're like, yeah, it's probably just either your first thing to do is they're not real. Like, yeah, it was just a fun myth. Now game cameras are out. And then you're like, well, maybe they hide in caves.
I
And you
mean,
start
for all
looking
we
back.
know, all cryptids exist or
Mhm.
existed at one point. What was I doing research on that my co-writer said it's a hoax, and it's not a hoax. They just caused it to have a hoax. What the hell was it?
The jackalope?
No, we do have the jackalope in the story, but it was
That was a
something
hoax
else.
and it's real.
Actually, it's real because of the calcium horns. But there's another creature that looked like a stegosaurus kind of thing. I'm trying to think of the name. It's gonna drive me crazy. It's in the story briefly, but it's not that it was a hoax. It's that a town caused it to have a hoax, where they said they found it and didn't. And
I know what you're talking about. I can't think of it.
It caused this whole controversy. I have it somewhere because it's already in the story. I think it was like issue, I don't quote me, 6 or 7. So yeah, but we have the basilisk too in there, which is awful. But I did learn that the weakness of a basilisk somehow is the urine of a weasel. Who knew? But the only problem is that the urine also kills the weasel. So I don't know. It's the scent of the urine, and the weasel is immune to the basilisk's glare and venom. So the basilisk is scared of the weasel, and it apparently if you use its urine, it kills the weasel. So we did not want to kill the weasel. So
It seems awful unfair to the weasel.
I think so too. She does use the weasel to get away from the basilisk, but she doesn't use the urine because she didn't want to kill the weasel. Plus, she can't kill the basilisk because they're territorial, and you don't know when you'll find another one. So,
is that the 3-headed dog?
No, basilisk is the snake.
Oh yeah, wrong Harry Potter movie.
Yeah. It's actually that is the right second one. Yeah, it's in the second Harry Potter one. And we looked up to that the male and female look different. They have different plumes in their head and all that stuff. And apparently, though it's debated, it's from hatching from a cockatiel, not a cockatiel. How do you say it? Cockatrice? I don't know. It's a giant chicken. So,
is that the mythical chicken?
Yeah,
Cockatrice, the one from Rhett and Link.
Yeah, it's they lay, supposedly some say it lays the egg of a basilisk. So, because they also do have a death glare, so I guess it makes sense. I'm full of useless information today, so if anyone's learning,
I kind of needed this like 400 level cryptid conversation. I get really excited. I'll go through scientists just to clear my mind from it. Then I want to get right back in it.
Yeah.
Right now, my publicist is getting me a bunch of mediums and things, and so I haven't talked cryptids in about 3 weeks.
What? Yeah.
Yep.
I've been talking cryptids nonstop since I started this. So, and I keep adding to it. Like, they haven't found the Snallygaster yet, but it's in the background. They haven't encountered the Mothman, but he's in the background. So they still have a lot more to go. The jackalope does pop out, but for anyone that it looks like the rabbit from Watership Down. So if anyone knows Watership Down, that's the Easter egg for that. It's Bigwig from Watership Down. We have little Easter eggs in there. So
you know how old I am. The only jackalope I know is from Dave Couillet's Sunday Night Special, America's Funniest People.
You didn't see Full House?
I did.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he used to say
when Dave Couillet did the. No, when he was on after Bob Saget had America's Funniest Home Videos, and he had like the same thing, and he had like a jackalope character, and that's how I know.
Yeah,
he was like, cut it out all the time.
I watched that show, and I would love to go on whatever show you have, Sportcast.
Glenn's show. Yeah,
I love doing podcasts. Just I warn everyone that I'm a rambler, which you've probably noticed since I've been rambling for 50
I've had to just nudge you on every conversational piece. Just say some words.
Yeah, somebody said to me once, podcasts don't like me because they said I don't talk enough. I was like, really? I've never been told that in my life ever.
Nope.
So, it was supposed to be 45 minutes and it's 50. So there you go.
Yeah, we passed 45.
Yeah.
I turned my thing off at 52 seconds. I didn't want it to ding. Yeah, we've reached it. I mean, this is a full episode, and I don't really hate it. We got everything in.
Yeah.
I like to just talk about the different ones because I didn't know like to the extent what you did all this. I didn't know if it was like you saw and just wrote a story about it and it was fictional, which is okay because you got free credit. You do whatever you want. I mean, look, like again, Pokemon. They just said, okay, we're gonna do all this stuff.
I like to do my own spin on the quote unquote factual info. Like the Wampus cat has all of the looks and powers of a Wampus cat, but it has quills on its tail. The Mothman is a Mothman that I am going with it comes when it's disasters, but ours comes for every disaster. So anything negative, he just pops up to watch. So like there's a hanging and he wants to watch, or there's the chick's about to die, he wants to watch. So he's just a stalker with gossip. I don't know. But yeah.
And he's very colorful.
He's very colorful. I wasn't gonna go for that much color, but my artist was like, it needs to balance. So now it's more colorful. So the plushie is going to be colorful. I didn't want red eyes and black because I need to do spins on things. Otherwise, why would they want to read mine over anybody else's? So it's
like a Lisa Frank Mothman.
That's what my doesn't like it. My co-writer is like, it's too much like Lisa Frank, and I was like,
what about a dolphin? Just dolphins for no reason.
Yeah, I do not know Spearfinger.
I don't either.
But now I
should probably look that up.
Yeah, now I'm gonna have to look that up.
Kalima, have you dived into like Mexican and South American lore cryptid wise?
I've done them all. It just is random. Like Aztecs, Mexican, I've done European, I've done Scotland. It's just whatever. We have this cavern that it connects to other I want to say magically, but it has a reason, connects to other countries, and everything evil can go through the cave. So that way I can have them interact with other creatures that normally wouldn't be there. Like the Leeds demon wouldn't normally be there because they're not in Jersey. And the ox bull, flaming bull is I think it's Mexican or Aztecs and Mexican, something there. And so this is the way it travels through. So yeah, the way I did as many factual things as I could for the time period. Like I've actually did look up words to make sure they existed. However, they do not speak in Western, and I'm going to warn everyone now because that would have hurt my brain. So we're just going to say they're timeless and leave it at that. But I did try to do as many factual events, like anything they use invention wise has to happen around the same time or before. He called her a pain in the ass. I had to make sure that phrase existed, and it does. And there's a lot of things I had to look to make sure it existed. So yeah, I try to be as factual as I could, but their speech is not, he has a little Western twang once in a while, but not really.
It's like that Back to the Future 3, where everything Doc Brown made had to be like steampunk.
Yeah.
He had like stuff made out of stuff. His rifle had like a 30-foot scope on it.
Yeah, the toughest part was when they separate, there's no cell phone. I think at one point they use a homing pigeon. That was the only way to get a message to him. Yeah, that was one thing we used. But yeah, so
that's what Game of Thrones does.
Huh?
Game of Thrones wrote the ravens in there.
Yeah. Well, now that the Raven joined in, I want to say issue 6. So after issue 6, it did become a little bit easier to have a flying cryptid that joins with them. But yeah. So as long as you don't
Glenn's been trying to get me to buy a ham radio all day, so maybe they just need ham radios.
Yeah. My brother had a ham radio license, so he used to do that all the time. You still have to get a license, but I don't remember. It's probably easier now than it was in like the 90s.
I think you can do it online now.
I'm sure it's super easy.
You used to have to go to the courthouse.
Yeah, he used to have to go to school. You probably don't even have to do that anymore.
So. Take a little book. I brought up the Mexican thing. There's a guy named Robert Beto from he lives in San Diego, but he did like a whole doctoral thesis on every cryptid in Mexico and South America.
Nice.
And if you needed to research, I could probably hook you up with him.
The more the merrier, man. Like I
Right.
said, the more research I do, like for example, she was in a river. So I was like, okay, what creature cryptid is in a river? And I can't even pronounce it. It starts with an A. No, wait, that was the toxic one. Which one had she? I can't pronounce the two of them. There's one with the toxic fume because I had to do something toxic. And the one I chose to grab her with her leg in the water was this creature that looks like an otter and it has a hand on the end of its tail. And it grabbed her. So it looks like a human hand is grabbing your leg and pulls you in. And then it rips your eyes and teeth out. That's what it does. And then drowns you and throws your body in the river. So I discovered
Like some
that
Native
one.
American stuff there.
Yeah, I discovered that one while writing the last chapter. Actually, the very last chapter. Yeah. So
We need something. We need otter hand. Give me something. Otter hand.
yeah, it's probably
Sounds like some old Cherokee lore. Something that drags you under.
it probably would not be that hard for me to.
There's also the La Llorona from.
So the poisonous one is the. This sucks being dyslexic. It's Taziel worm, but with a U. So I wonder if I can get this on screen. Let me see.
Taziel worm.
Taziel worm. If that's how you say it, don't ever
Imagine a
quote me.
giant cryptid worm.
It's not though. It's a weird looking. Here, I'll show you.
It's like a hoop snake.
Yeah, it's some. Well, yeah, it's a really weird description. Yeah, and let me see. I don't even know how. It's an aquatic cryptid.
I said toe thumb.
I think it starts with an A. Is the one that grabs you. Cryptid, aquatic. No, not awful. Aquatic. Aquatic cryptid. Let's see. Otter. Like. All I know is it looks. I don't know if that's it. Is that it? Resembles an otter, but said to have times a wise welt pelt crossed on its back. The murky waters reside. That can't be. That doesn't look right.
The good news about whenever you need a cryptid to fill a void, like you're doing, is they exist. You can pull them from anywhere.
Oh yeah, yeah. But this is not the one. Mine's otter-like, but it. Oh wait, is it that? Hold on, let me see. This might be it. Oh yeah, this. Water dog, otter. Let's see if it has a hand. How hard was that? No, doesn't have a hand. Because that's kind of a big thing to have. Hand on
Man.
Tail.
Try not to sneeze.
Here it is. Here it is. It's this thing.
I'm all invested in this otter hand now.
I know. It's creepy as freak.
Everybody hold up. We got otter hands coming.
I
We'll
can't
wrap it up in a
pronounce
second.
it.
We got to get otter hands in here.
I can't pronounce it, but it's there. There we go.
Ooh.
Oh.
Ooh.
So, oh wait, you can't see the word.
That looks like a gin.
That's what I said. There you go.
Oh, that's
Pronounce
definitely
that
Native
one.
American there.
Yeah. So however you pronounce that, just pulled her under the water. But then one of the burrow killed it and took over. So there you go. Spoiler alert.
So you basically kind of reinvented the way the MonsterVerse is with the Middle Earth, how they can go down and come back up. Yep. With Godzilla and everything.
I did. I tortured everything. Yeah.
I don't blame you. Yeah, this is. I think I'm gonna reach out and get one of these episodes for editions for my daughter. She loves stuff like that.
Awesome. It works for me.
I read all the Walking Dead comics, but I don't really do any more comics than that.
I will be honest with you. Most of the people that read my comic have never read comics before, and then they love it. So
I started reading those Walking Dead ones when that show came out. And I was just like, I was up at the comic book store when they come out every week. Like, gosh, Mister, you got the latest episode of Robert Kirkman?
I've never read the comics, but I have seen the show up until season 10, I think.
Oh, the comics are glorious. They never let up. The show, not so much.
I've heard. I've looked up a bunch of stuff. So
he's even got like another one called Redneck Bastards or something, and it's like a supernatural southern kind of backwoods thing. Marvel or DC? I don't read any comics.
Yeah, I don't. I started with Marvel because I used to read Ghost Rider in the 90s, but since then I have not read anything except for the indies.
Oh yeah, if anybody's got any question, you can ask them. Well, we're landing the plane, obviously, but you can
Yeah.
ask a question. We're just hanging out.
Yeah.
This is garbage time. We did 45 minutes. I mean, what do you want?
Yeah.
Stuff's free, and none of y'all go to the merch link in bio. Nobody ever buys.
Ooh.
I sold 3 t-shirts. Look out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I used to have t-shirts, but it was just hard to do the sizes and everything. And,
Yeah,
and
you got to have like 50 of each.
yeah, yeah.
What's the most popular item of merch that's not like a plushie? Like a standard item, like a mug or something like that.
Stickers and pins are my biggest sellers. Magnets, things like that, small things. A couple of 3D printing. I am working on a 3D printed of the Wendigo. But right now, like my little, what the heck, little Anubises sell really well.
That's an Egyptian thing.
Yeah. Well, that's Redemption has. I think some people might be upset that there's no Anubis in the cryptids, but I had so many creatures I did not need that one too.
Yeah, I mean, who's gonna be like, "Wow, this could use another something"?
Right? It's got over 30 cryptids in it, so and 20 of them are interactive. So I don't know.
I squelched my hunger with the otter hand, but it could have used some more stuff.
Yeah, right.
I really wish you could have had some more things. Now, is your Bigfoot like a singular Bigfoot, or is there like a family of them?
There's only one Bigfoot, but there is the only multiples that I have right now is the crows. They live in a murder, of course, and the Wendigos. There's more than one. Trying to think of what else. Probably the Mothman will be 2. It's probably going to be a couple because we're not. But
Kassoon's here, live from Sri Lanka, the glorious island in the Indian Sea.
nice.
He's here.
But yeah, most of them are one of Jackalope. Someone just said it. Jackalope. I'm on it. I do have to do the Jackalope. Jackalope isn't one of the 20 cryptids that are collected, but it does wind up there, mostly because I like the Jackalope. But anyway, so
what'd you say it was from White Horse down?
What'd you say?
Sorry, I was like, what'd you say the Jackalope was from?
Oh, mine is from Watership Down.
Watership Down. Water.
Yeah, it's from the 80s, and it's a terrifyingly brutal cartoon that I never should have watched at age 6. But here we are. So.
Oh, okay.
The glowing hat inside.
See it now.
So I'll have to come back when I'm live with the cryptid. Maybe I'll come back next year.
You can come back every 3 weeks if you want to. I don't care.
Well, January, I would love to come back and show you my live Kickstarter with all my items and the journals and the pages and all that stuff. So,
I mean, a lot of times repeat guests are best because you don't have to do the intro and there's no like topic.
Yeah.
If you kind of like get along with them, and we're obviously not hating each other. Hey, we got Ron Ivy here. How you doing, Ron? Riley Ron, Ivy Force.
As everyone shows up an hour in.
Hey, it's happened before. That's how the algorithm works.
Yeah, I noticed on mine too. Yeah.
Start to get comfortable. Does anyone got any questions about cryptids or comic books or how they drew the Miss Incredible to look like that? Just stuff that crosses my mind as I do my daily.
Yeah. I wish I had a color page of the Bigfoot. I have the you see what he said? Notification never went out. It's all your fault.
It really is. You didn't click the bell.
Yeah.
Click the bell.
Let me see if I have the page with the Bigfoot on it. It's not colored yet, but I do have a page.
I almost used one of your sketches you used for Bigfoot as the thumbnail, but I didn't know if they were still concept art or I was stealing. So I went with the one you released already.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish it was colored. It's gonna be colored next.
Now in her book, Dogman and Werewolf aren't the same, but I can't promise you that
they're not the same. They're completely different. A Dogman is a territorial creature that's not evil. unless you bother it. And werewolf is either one that's born a werewolf, but generally it's cursed. But yeah, they are considered two different cryptids. So I know because we had a fight over it. Okay, so
I think some people like, well, that's obviously one's explains the other or whatever, but technically they are two different cryptids.
Yes, they are two different.
And one orders Chinese food.
Well, the dog man is nicer, quote unquote. If you want to, am I sharing it? Can you see it?
Oh.
Okay, so let me see if I can zoom in. So this is our first showing of Bigfoot.
Look at that head. Classic.
Got a big old head. He was supposed to be more unique, but everyone wanted the classic look. So he's classic, except for he has pure white eyes, and his fur is like a brownish, goldish black accents. So this is, I don't know if it'll let me. And this is him. The only reason why, for anyone that's going to yell at me, that he can overpower the Wendigo is the Wendigo is not expecting that. But technically, a Wendigo is all sadly powerful, unless there's fire involved. So,
what's that middle frame with the rats?
The rat, that's Apollo, and he is trying to stop. He's talking to Bigfoot to go after Wendigo.
It's got a Master Splinter vibe going on.
Yes, he's adorable. Here he is trying to stop the Wendigo, though technically the Wendigo is more scared of the fire. But yeah, he's hissing at him, and then Bigfoot's hearing what's going on, and then you could see his little body there telling Bigfoot, go over there. And then Bigfoot does just that. But you'll see much later on, that Bigfoot is actually going to get bit, because Wendigos are not pleasant creatures. So yeah,
I'd like to watch that fight in real life.
Yeah, it will come into play later. The Wendigo is in it sparingly, comes and goes and all stuff. Yes, werewolves are shapeshifters. You can either have one that can shapeshift per moon or shapeshift when they want to. Ours will do whenever they want to. However, they're more powerful during the full moon. Dogmen are generally never transformed. They are just the dogmen. So they do not.
They're just a thing.
Yeah, they're just. I don't like cryptids that are human-esque. I just don't like them. Our spider queen is a transformer. She's human and a spider, but generally, I don't like it. I find that from the Wendigo. Our Tommy knockers are little dwarves. They're kind of human. I don't know.
That's my next. I was going to ask you if we're planning on putting skinwalkers in there, so that might have answered that.
So technically, their skinwalkers are another name for Wendigos, or it's a werewolf that changed. So I've heard it for everything. I'm definitely no expert. There are stories of dogmen being created. I mean, I guess you can create anything in a lab, but they're generally not. They're born dogmen. But I guess you can create anything in a lab. But yeah. I do prefer the dogman over the werewolf. I think they're more interesting to me. Mine has long hair, so our werewolf has shorter hair.
Man, let me tell you, in this cryptid world, nobody gets more offended and butthurt over the topic than the dogman people.
Really?
They are very nichey. They're very protective, and they're like I call them the tactical bros. They got like the tattoos and stuff. And
now you have me more worried because he's in it quite a bit.
If you get upset them, you can get all kinds of attention.
Yeah, I guess I will. Yeah. I do follow the lore. His eyes will glow amber. I guess they glow either amber or blue, and ours is amber because her eyes glow blue. So we went with amber. They're not evil, they're territorial, and they don't like things that are unnatural. So there you go. So we're gonna follow that. Do you think there are people actually control? I say no. I do believe that lycanthropy is real, where they think they're a werewolf, and it goes back to the whole: are they cannibal? Are they not? But no, I personally do not believe that a person could. I mean, can you imagine that effing transformation? Who's the most? I think it's the Moose Man.
Moose Man. I have a new favorite cryptid.
The Wendigo, in a way, is one of the most. They're fast. They trick you. They're intelligent. They can mimic your voice. They're cannibals. They're almost indestructible unless you chop off their head or use fire. So almost most of the wounds heal. They're fast. They have super speed. I would say that I would not want to mess with a Wendigo.
You live close to Wendigos.
Yeah. But if you use fire against it, they're scared of it, or you light them up in fire. So if they're not, it's not that they're super hard to beat. It's just that you have to beat it to do it. So yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm not an expert in cryptids. I'm working on it. Yeah. Vampires are easily defeated though. You chop off its head or you set it on fire. I mean, they don't have that much power if you think about it. Ours is fast and super strength, but they're not like, skinwalkers are generally.
Man, I've been watching Dark Winds this week. Anybody that hasn't watched Dark Winds, watch Dark Winds about the Navajo and the black magic and the murders. Oh my God, it's one of those shows. It's like when it ends, I'm gonna have to like go on a retreat to like clear my mind.
Yeah,
it's so good. Like,
yeah, I have not seen that one.
It's so good. It's so good.
I will have to check it out.
And I love shows too. Like I'm a movie buff, but I like shows almost as much. Right now I'm watching From. That's my post podcast.
From. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
After I do my podcast on Sundays, I'll go watch From with my supper.
Nice.
It's so good. I look forward to it. Yeah, man. Yeah. I think as far as werewolf goes, maybe it's a lore. I mean, Occam's razor says it is. But
I mean, I don't know. I don't like things that can give their curse to others. Like, I mean, a vampire is just getting bit. Okay, so a skinwalker and a Wendigo will win. Sorry. No. Skinwalkers don't have the intelligence. They do have intelligence, but they don't have as much defense. You can kill a skinwalker more easily than, well, then again, you can light a Wendigo on fire. I don't know.
I'm not getting near any of them.
Yeah.
The Moose Man.
Yeah. I have not heard of the Moose Man. But moose are terrifying. So you know what? I can believe that. You hit one with your car, you're the one dying. So just
Moose
saying.
Man. That's a first. I'm Riley. Go ahead and subscribe because we got to talk more in this chat. I may have you on to talk.
Yeah.
I don't want this to be our last interaction. I said erection. I don't want this to be our last interaction. See, I'm stuffy. I've got.
Yeah. I would believe more in a skinwalker than a werewolf. Personally.
Oh, William Nighthawk's on here. Yeah, walkers are very real. Yeah. It's terrifying too.
William, do you believe in the curse on quote unquote curse of a werewolf? Do you think that you can get bit and turn into a werewolf and the moon? Because I believe that the skin. See, ours would technically be more of a skinwalker since it can change when it wants to. The doll got you.
We're not talking about that doll tonight. And I'm sorry that Glenn brought it up. Glenn, say you're sorry. Yes. We don't talk about that doll.
I don't blame you. Dolls are terrifying.
They are. That's my last name. It's just terrifying.
Yeah, you can burn them. I don't think you like. We have an incubus and a succubus in our story, and they're powerful unless you chop off their head or pull out their heart. So yeah, you can do that too. So I forgot they're in there. They try to seduce our characters.
The incubus and the succubus from South Park. That was hilarious.
Yeah, a succubus is a female and an incubus is a male.
Incubus. And a bad band for the 90s.
Yeah, that's true.
Not to be confused with Better Than Ezra.
Yeah. Like I said before, for anyone that's new, if you want to check out our pre-launch or our current Kickstarter, you just search Worthy Chaos. That was my husband. Worthy Chaos on Kickstarter or Worthy Chaos anywhere, and you can see. We have 15 things on there, and 3 of them are in pre-launch, and one of them is live. Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, Riley, hit me up and I'll have you on the show. Just go to bobbydizzle.com and find my Facebook or whatever. Message me. It'll be fun. Making new friends tonight. This has been productive. I needed this week.
I think this is a scam.
Yeah.
My
This
husband
fa- I thought you meant this podcast is a scam. That's very true.
No, I mean it could be. I know nothing about you.
I'm here to talk to you about your car's extended warranty, by the way. And press 2 for English.
Yeah, my husband just sent me a link. His favorite movie ever is Jurassic Park. So he wants to get. We have a YJ that's like the one in the movie, but the official one in the movie is the Sahara. And he just sent me a link to a Sahara that's $1,800. There's no bloody way that is $1,800 for that kind of in shape Sahara. But
with square headlights.
Yep. Real Jeeps have square headlights, even though my
square headlights.
My CJ does not have square headlights, but we're probably going to sell the CJ anyway to pay for the comic book because we're in debt. But whatever. Anytime
somebody talks about how fast something can run, I'll be like, well, that's slower than a Brachiosaurus.
Yeah.
Brachiosaurus, though, Jay. Me and my co-host that I have on sometimes will go talk about Jurassic Park and like for hours.
Yeah.
I love that.
We have one of my artists that does my statues, like the Wendigo. Did I show you the Wendigo?
You showed me your pictures.
No, the 3D printed one. I mean, we're making a 3D printed one, but we have a handmade one, which he makes with a soft clay. He does hard clay too, but I gotta be honest with you, I don't know what it is, but I much rather have the soft clay. Let me see if it's here. He does such an amazing job. Anyway, he made me what do you call it? A whole setup of Jurassic Park, but all the characters are Donald Duck and like the nephews and Daisy and all that. I'll have to show you pictures someday because it's pretty cool.
How cool would it be if they went back and made a book accurate Jurassic Park? Like Christopher Nolan did that, took it upon himself.
That would be pretty freaking cool.
I would like quit work for 6 months. I would go on sabbatical.
That
somebody had AI like do like a little like scenes of a book accurate, and that was amazing enough for me.
I'll have to show you someday the Jurassic Park one. It cost me $500, but it was so worth it. It has a Jeep. The scene is, do you remember the scene where Cedric crashes into the sign? So you have Donald Duck and Daisy. Donald was driving and he just hit the YJ into the sign, and the sign is cracked over the hood, and he's looking at a map with Daisy looking pretty pissed off. The nephews in the background have the Jeep door open, and they're luring the T-Rex towards the Jeep with a stake. So, yeah. Okay, here I found it. I want to get to the video 1 second. This show is going to be like 3 hours. I'm probably going to go in a little bit. Okay, here.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of minutes from now anyway. We're talking about Jurassic Park. I'm not cutting it off.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the Wendigo.
Quiet, all of you. We're entering the Tyrannosaurus paddock.
Here's our Wendigo handmade statue.
Oh, look at his legs.
Isn't he awesome? I love the skeleton aspect of it. How he's there's one where it turns him around. This must be he's showing. Oh no, yeah, you could see how the skeleton that goes on along his back. Yeah. So, and he's got the little. He did an amazing job. He made me 3 of them. 2 will be available January, but they're handmade, and there's only 3 made. So, we can see brothers started out glowing with the dark. Yeah. Anyway, so I will have to show you the Jurassic Park. I don't know how to do it. He's the one that made that is the one that did Jurassic Park, but I don't know if it'll let me pop that up.
Huey, Dewey, and Louie.
Oh, it's so funny. He did such an amazing job. It was actually for my husband for Christmas. And it was worth every penny, I gotta tell you. I think the only thing he didn't make by hand was the Jeep. He just bought a YJ Jeep to put on there.
Like a toy?
Yeah, like a toy.
Yeah.
Let me see if it'll let me show me. Sometimes I can find it easily on my.
See, I've got the toy Jeep. I bet you had to buy that from back in the day, from back in the 93.
Yeah.
Dino damage.
Here, media files. Let's see that. Let's see. There's a ton of cool stuff.
Getting some future guests happening. I got Riley talking about moose and an encounter in Maine. I got William Nighthawk. I've talked to William before. He's one of the guys I talked to back when I first started, and can't remember what we said. Some people.
I never remember anything I say.
Oh no, because I'll send these messages and I'll get them 2 or 3 years later. Oh, I'm glad to come on. Okay, who are you again? I'll pick right back up. That's the people that get butt hurt in the podcast game, and the people that don't survive. Like, I'm never going with him. He didn't answer my messages. Bitch, nobody answers messages. It's 2024.
Really?
You can't be butthurt over that.
All right, here it is. I found it. All right.
I wouldn't doubt it there, William. It's I know the lore is the same as the one in Scotland.
So the possession is from somebody that had to survive, usually trapped in winter or something, and they survived by being a cannibal, and they started to enjoy it. And the longer they did it, the more likely are to be possessed. So yes, it is a possession of some type. See, I know things. All right, hold on.
Wendigo.
Yeah. Okay.
What we got here? This may be our final. Oh my gosh.
So see the broken sign, and he's looking at the map. That's a direct map from the thing. And then she looks pissed. Guess who character that is in my story? And then this is them trying to get the T-Rex to get into the Jeep. So, yeah.
No wonder you're extinct.
So there you go. That's the. I think you can see. Yeah, see, there's little.
Smoke
and you can move
signals.
them around if you want. He's got little meat bits. It's so funny. I love it. Cracks me up. This was my idea, and I surprised my husband with it.
Hey, Kassoon, I'm thinking Christopher Nolan remake a book accurate Jurassic Park.
That would be pretty cool.
Starring Heath Ledger as the dinosaurs.
Yeah. So
rest in peace, Heath Ledger. Yeah, I mean, that was that came along like after the fact.
Yeah.
It's part of the Scottish thing too. The Scottish Wendigo does, but ours didn't. But now, like, it just looks cooler to have a skull.
I prefer the skull. Yeah. But anyway, so
I'm trying to gatekeep cryptids, Riley. Damn.
No, I've seen the ones without it, but it looks cooler with it. Like I said, I don't like humanoid cryptids, so I prefer the deer. The only humanoid I have is the Spider Queen, which is a Japanese folklore, and then I have the Tommy Knockers, which are the ghosts of miners that were killed in cave-ins, and they are both pranksters and helpers, depending on what they want. So anyway, yeah.
All right, it's been a good show though.
Thanks.
We'll wrap it up, and all her links are in the description.
Yep.
To the
or like I said, search Worthy Chaos on Kickstarter. It's the easy way to find me. I have a hardcover, 2 hardcovers, and all the singles are live now for the first story. It's available for the next 11 days. You can go find it on there. The Graffin Monster. So yeah, and you could find me on Facebook, Corissa Grant, or you could search Worthy Chaos. And I'm also on Twitter, and I do nothing on there. So I have 5.3 thousand followers on there, and it's just not. I'm not on there.
Good Lord, yeah.
But I have 5.3 followers on Facebook, so I figured that'll good enough. But yeah. All
right, folks. Thanks for watching. Had a good crowd tonight.
Yeah,
everybody
so active in the chat. That's why I love live shows. I love the interaction.
Yeah, it gives me adrenaline. I hate to say it.
Yeah, it does. It's kind of a rush. You guys are awesome.
I've been practicing not addressing the comments and doing the show and doing the show and then getting to 45 minutes and then open it to an open forum. It's a good little.
I can't do that. If anyone wants to come see my show, it's 8 p.m. Eastern on Mondays on my Facebook, and I interact with everyone because for some reason I have this I don't like to make people think they're ignored. So you get
Yeah.
noticed right away. I don't like
just-
people to think they're ignored.
I'll pop them up there, but I won't like address them verbally unless it's really good.
So I did everything backwards. But anyway, I
No,
will
you're-
hopefully be back on in January when I am live with my cryptids. I will have plushies to show you. I will have 3D statues to show you, pins, stickers, lots of buttons and stuff like that.
All right.
Yeah, he says to share my links. You can find me. I think he has links somewhere.
It's in the description.
Yeah. There you go.
YouTube and
Or like I said, search Corissa Grant
Mm-hmm.
or Worthy Chaos on Facebook, and I will pop up. Or Google me, and I am wherever chaos is, so you can find me.
it will have this logo as the profile picture.
Yes, that is my hot chick. So
Got me going. Here I am. Anyway, thanks everybody for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe.
Bye.
Follow Corissa, and I'm gonna have you back on pretty often. This was fun.
Awesome.
I needed it after being sick.
I
Peace.
learned so much.
I never didn't believe in Bigfoot. I never believed in. I didn't believe in. I never given any thought.
They kept wood knocking back and forth to each other, and it was in a pattern.
Barn owls don't typically throw rocks.
I come across these tracks.
Sasquatch is still not on my mind.